Let's get into it. Hey, hi, hello, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Bliss Between the Covers, and I talk about smut books and I do my makeup at the same time. If you don't like books, that's okay. If you don't like makeup, that's also okay. If you actively hate makeup, though, and you actively hate books, I'm not for you, dog. But if you don't mind some yapping, if you want to put this on in body double, just hang out, whatever, I welcome you to do so. If you're returning, hey Misty. Hey. Thanks for coming back. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'm glad that we formed this connection. um I'm super duper duper ready to talk about today's book. Um Lights Out, dude. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I loved this book. This book I felt seen. I felt seen and heard, and yeah. So let me clip my hair out of the way, and well, let's start talking about it. Disclaimer: if you didn't read um this book and you plan on it, go read it and then come back. Okay, I'll wait. It's fine. But if you have read and you want to talk about it, let's go. Let's talk. All right, I'll be right back. Hair is pinned out of my face, and I primed. Um, because how many times do you really need to see me slap my face in order for the primer to get tacky? I like me a grippy primer. What can I say? But anyway, lights out, man. Let's get into it. So if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I love me a masked man. Okay, who doesn't? Again, if you know, you know. If you don't, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you don't understand. Maybe you need some more masked men in your life. Clearly, I like Ghostface a lot. But there's other ones. There's other ones out there. Okay. Um, our male main character is a masked man. Yay. And our female main character, she knows what she wants. and that's really all I need to say. This is not the concealer that I wanted. This one's dry. This is just a PSA to everybody. Throw it out when it's done. Don't be me. Throw it out. What am I doing with this? I don't know. Nothing, because it's dry. Anyway, uh, our female main character, she knows what she wants. So this book is very self-aware in the fact that it is about what we all had seen on TikTok within, I don't know, the past year or two. Honestly, maybe more. Um, Probably more. I didn't get on TikTok until maybe 2021, like towards the end of the year. So I missed a lot of stuff. But what I didn't miss was the masked men. Cause them spicy men in them ghost face masks doing little thirst traps and the freaking ghost from COD. Oh yeah, no, I didn't miss that. Did not miss that. That was all over my freaking feed. I will be honest with you. Okay. Um. So our girl, our main character, Allie, she's on TikTok and she has been following this uh faceless man. His handle is the faceless man. Um, or something like that. I think that is exactly his handle. Um, but she's been following our masked main character, our masked male main character, um, on TikTok for a while, and she has left many a comment on his his TikToks like, man, wish you would break into my home and wait for me to get home and ravage me, and wow, I would bark for you. Like those thirsty comments. I've listen. I haven't left them in a comment section as far as I know, but I've thought them. The amount of times that I said I would have barked for that man if he asked me to. I say those things in real life. I don't I don't need to leave it in the comments on the internet. This already is incriminating enough. Okay, you've got me on camera admitting. But yeah, so our girl Ellie, she's been leaving these thirsty little comments on our boy Josh. Okay, I'm just gonna drop his name now. Our boy Josh, his faceless man TikTok account. And Allie's a nurse. She works in the ER, so she works really late at night, doing marathon shifts. There we go. My brain is moving a little too fast for my mouth. But Allie works a lot of marathon shifts, and she sees a lot of stuff working in the ER. But the times that she gets to relax and be in the break room, she is on TikTok. And Allie has this little situationship hookup type thing that she was doing for a while with this guy Tyler. I had to think of his name. I was thinking Trevor, but I said, no, that is Devil's Night. Let's not get our stories mixed up. With this guy Tyler, and one night she is like, "Hey, you wanna do something?" He's like, "No, sorry. Actually, I am with someone now." And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool. And because Allie works in the hospital, she doesn't have time for a relationship. Like, she gets busy and she has to kind of not, I guess, go ghost. But she's a busy girl. Okay, emergencies happen. I don't have Kittle. Cat. She's a busy girl, and she, has to put people's lives above any hookups, relationships, whatever. So, hey. So she hadn't texted Tyler in a while. But whatever. He's not super duper important, but he's important enough, and we'll get into it. So hold on, I gotta deal with this. Cat butt gone. Where is that going? Cat butts are really distracting. Tyler. That's what we were talking about. So Tyler tells her, sorry, boo thing, I can't. And while Tyler is texting Allie, oh, okay, wait, hold on. So Allie texts Tyler a screenshot of the masked man and basically was like, hey, would you want to do something like this? And he's like, no, that's the mask kink. Ew, get away from me. And then, tells her, sorry, I have a girlfriend now. And while Allie is texting Tyler, Tyler's with none other than Josh, our masked man. They are roommates and best friends.
And they were roommates.
They were roommates.
Anyway, so Tyler shows Josh the text between him and Allie and was like, yo, would you ever do something like this? And Josh has to play it cool because the screenshot that Allie sent is from one of his videos, and nobody knows that Josh has this TikTok account, that it's him again because he's a masked man. I don't know your identity if you're wearing a mask. But he's playing it cool, and he has to be like, oh, haha, no, I would never. That's weird. That's suspicious. So Josh plays it real cool, and as he's looking at the the picture, he's like, "Oh man, I gotta get rid of this before Tyler looks a little too close and realizes that this is our furniture in our apartment, and like that's my bed or couch or whatever furniture was in the screenshot." So Josh deletes it and he's like, "Oops, sorry man, my bad. I swiped and deleted the picture or the text thread on accident." And Tyler's like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. It's fine. No biggie. No big deal." But this then plants this tiny little seed in Josh's brain. Okay. Our our guy immediately freaking has the wheels spinning. He's like, "Well, I've seen Allie before. She's pretty fine. She likes me. Um, that's cool. She's got a mask kink. I'm gonna see um, if she's very active on my account because clearly she's seen it. Does she follow me? Has she left tons of comments and likes, and how long has she been following me? That type of thing." So Josh is a hacker and a really good one at that. So he uses his little hacker boy skills and he is looking through his followers, and he uses an AI program to blow up the account that he thinks is Allie's uh, profile picture and like depixelate it, like computer enhance type thing. And he finds her account, and then after that uses like a freaking code that he built to search through his comments for like her username and whatever. Whole involved thing. This guy, I give him props because I can find anything that I want, like most women can, because we are like the FBI. But this is like a whole other level. And I'm sad. Okay. So Josh sees like a whole slew of comments and stuff come up from Allie. And again, there are comments like those arms, those hands would love to, have that as a necklace, like whatever, those types of things. So Josh is like, "Damn, okay. Wow." And again, more comments like, "Psh, wish he would break into my house and do that. Would love to fucking come home and find that waiting for me." So this gives little Joshy Poo an idea. He's like, "Well, let's really test and see if she's into this." So Josh freaking does more little hacker nerd stuff, which I love. Good for him. And he gets all of Allie's info, where she lives. Is the community freaking like gated? Are there security cameras? Like all that stuff. My eye's so itchy. Okay. Anyway, um, like is there security are there security cameras? Sorry, grammar. If there are security cameras in the neighborhood, do her neighbors have security cameras? Are they facing anywhere near her front door, back door, property, whatever? So he does all this research, and then he freaking goes and he gets into her house, and obviously she's not home. She's working. She's working late because she's an ER nurse. Um, but anyway, she's working in the ER. So she's not home, obviously. And he breaks in. Well, breaks in. He uses his lock-picking skills like the lock-picking lawyer. Shout out to you. And he lets himself in. And he immediately is greeted by a cat. A freaking cat. Good old Fred. So Fred is Allie's cat. He's just this little fluffy thing. And he pretty much, well, first he thinks that Allie's home. So he's like, yippee! And then he's like, oh, you're not my mom. What the heck? So then Frank is like, and, doing normal cat things until he warms up to Josh. And Josh is the son of a pretty infamous serial killer. Like in this book world, he's pretty up there with freaking Bundy and Dahmer and all of those the Night Stalker, everything. So he never had pets or anything like that because he knows the typical serial killer, it starts off with small animals and whatever, and Josh is really concerned that he is going to turn out like his dad. So he tries to do whatever he can to avoid that. But he I'm not going to get into it. But Josh has never really been around small animals. So he's like, dude, what the frick? And then immediately once he is around Fred, he's like, oh, I don't want to hurt this. So that must be a good thing, right? So freaking Josh gets all set up and he films his latest TikTok that he posts in Allie's bedroom. And Allie goes on break in the break room, clearly, obviously, and she pulls out her phone because Josh is very regular in his postings, as creators are. Not me. I'm trying. But Josh has got a schedule down. He posts like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or something like that. But he is like clockwork. So Allie is ready to go. She knows today's the day. It's posting day. So she logs onto TikTok and she sees that there is a new video out. And she, is watching the TikTok. And she's like, oh, I have that comforter. Whatever. And Josh is like not trying to be sneaky about it, but is. So then, Allie goes home and she is in her head. Sorry, I had to think like if she was immediately sus. But I don't remember her being immediately sus. But she she gets home and she is like, whoa, what? My bunny is going crazy today too. Today is just not my day for animal normalcy. But anyway, if I remember correctly, Allie's not immediately like freaked out. No, actually, I think she is. Because now, if I'm again remembering correctly, Josh on that first night leaves a mask of his there. And then, oh, okay, yeah. Then she starts putting the pieces together. I promise I read these books, okay? I just read too much at the same time. So Allie sees the mask and she lives in a city type area. So She is strapped and ready to go to protect herself. So she sweeps her house with a gun to make sure that there's nobody there, nobody in her house. Um and Josh sees all of this because he left a little present behind. And by that I mean he put a camera in her room. Like teeny tiny secret little camera um in a like wall block charger thing. So super discreet. Never would know, never would have guessed. Um so he's watching Allie, and then she calms down. She's like, well, like I did kind of ask for this. Yeah. you know, he's just delivering on what I asked. So then Allie chills and she gets into her bed and she takes out her little magic wand, and that's when Josh like disconnects. He's like, what? Nope. This is the invasion of privacy. Not anything before, but this. So chivalrous gentleman Josh freaking turns off the video feed before he can see Allie exposed and vulnerable in that way. So Allie takes care of her frustrated business, and she's a little freaked though, nonetheless, because again, there was somebody in her house, and she's forced to believe, obviously, that it was the masked man because she knows her room, she knows her comforter and her mirror and the likes. So some time goes by, and Josh is just watching her, whatever. And Allie starts to, want to know who the masked man is. And she remembers that um Tyler's roommate was a hacker, so she's like, well, Tyler's roommate Josh can help me find this guy. Um, maybe if he wants. I don't really know him, but I'd pay him. And at this point, Josh is sending her flowers and a upgraded security system because she doesn't have any, which is how he was able to get into her house so freaking easily. So he is like, well, I'm gonna protect her and make sure that nobody else can break into her house. Only me. So he has a whole security system sent to her, and he's messaging her on TikTok through the TikTok DMs. And she's like, dude, are you kidding me? A freaking security system, like you broke in my house. Like what the hell? So this is fine. They have their back and forth, whatever. And Allie finds out about the camera in her room, and that really sets off the need to figure out who the heck this guy is, and how and like how he found her, whatever. So again, like I said, Allie's like, well, maybe Josh will help. And Allie texts Tyler, and she's like, hey, do you think your roommate Josh would help me find somebody? Like, there's this guy, whatever. And Tyler is like, whoa, is somebody bothering you? Like, you should really call the police. And Allie's like, no, it's not like that. Like, I can handle myself. I just want to find out, who this person is that's doing all this. So Tyler's like, well, like, I don't know, I'll talk to Josh, see what he says, type of dealio. So Josh goes and, or not Josh, so Tyler goes and talks to Josh, and he's like, hey, blah blah blah, and Josh is like, yeah, whatever, I'll help her, but he's immediately like having an oh shit moment because he can't out himself, but he already has safeguards on his account so that it could never be tracked to him. It leads you to like this divorced dad in Utah or something like that. Not, I don't actually think it was Utah, but he has it pinned on somebody else, not him. Um, and I can't get this open. Make up a murder, please make it so that I can open this. He he's got safeguards on his account though, so he would be covered. But he agrees to help Allie, and Allie comes over, and Josh has this fake program up that will really like not do anything. It just looks cool. It's for show. Um, I got it. We're good. Uh, so Josh fake helps Allie, and he's like, I can't really get you an answer today, but I'll let you know if something comes up from this search, but it could take a while because Allie has to go to work. So she's stopping by to hopefully get answers before she has to go to work. But Josh is not stupid, so he has a plan to kind of take the heat off of him and draw this out as long as humanly possible. But Allie already has a suspicion when it comes to Josh because she knows that he has a hacker background, and obviously he knows her name and all of that because she was involved with Tyler before. But Allie is texting the masked man while Josh is helping her, and Josh's phone doesn't go off while she's there, but the masked man is still responding. Josh has an AI program put together for auto response so that she does not think that it's him. But as soon as Allie leaves the apartment, she is like, well, it's Josh. It has to be. I'm convinced. So she she goes with this, and she lets him kind of know that she knows um at first, and then they end up having another meeting that evening, I believe. I don't really quite remember the chronological events of Josh breaking into her house. But they have another run-in at Allie's house. Josh is there, not waiting for her. Not waiting for her. I remember. It is a blizzard, and Josh is worried about Allie, driving at like 3 a.m. in the snow. So he hotwires her car. He takes an Uber and he hotwires her car to drive her home. How romantic. What a gentleman. Um Crap. Really looking out for her safety. So Josh is in the driver's seat with his mask on, whatever. Not a care in the world, but he has both a knife and a gun, in the passenger seat of Allie's car so that should she choose to get in, she could protect herself. So Josh is texting her while he's in her driver's seat, car running, whatever, and he persuades her to get in her car so that she can go home. And good old Josh, he has snacks ready for her, and he cares. He wants to make sure that she's eating. So he lets her know that there's like apple slices and trail mix and whatever. And Allie, being smart, is like, well, no, I'm not going to eat this because you could have poisoned it or laced it with something, blah, 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 smart girl moves. So Josh, in his masked manness, because he can't talk, he doesn't have a voice modulator yet, but he is like, give me one, and he pulls up his mask a teensy beensy bit and takes a bite of the apple and has some trail mix, whatever, to prove that he isn't trying to poison her. So once she is content with the the lack of poison or drugs in the snacks that he has provided, she then starts munching, and he's pretty content with himself. So he gets her home and puts her to bed and whatever. And she ends up stabbing him on accident. So she dresses his wounds and all of that. And then he goes home. But he before going home, he gets her breakfast from her favorite little deli breakfast nook type thingy and leaves it in her fridge. And he also clears out her driveway and sidewalk because of the snow. So Allie wakes up and she is getting ready to go outside and deal with the snow. And she sees that it's all cleared off already. And her neighbors are outside, and they're this cute old couple. And the older woman goes up to her and she's like, "Oh, your little boyfriend, boy toy, was so nice, and he was out here this morning and he was clearing off your driveway, sidewalk, whatever, blah blah blah. Um, you know, he he must have either really messed up or really likes you, whatever." Um, so Allie's like, "Dang, man, like he did all that." Um, so she's like, "Well, yeah, yeah. My my boyfriend, she can't ask her neighbor like what he looked like or anything like that because that would be weird. That would be suspicious." So she's like, "Oh yeah, haha. Well, we got into like a little fight, and this is how he's making up for it." So once she goes back inside and whatever, she texts him. And they're going back and forth for a little while, whatever. So Allie goes to work then later that evening, and Josh can freaking see into the hospital cameras. Jesus, I could not think for a moment. And there has been a serial graper that has been in the hospital. He was in there the one night after he assaulted a girl. And then he was back this night that Allie is there because the brother of the girl that he assaulted previously had some business that he had to take care of with this guy, this freaking piece of garbage. Um So the brother freaking beat the crap out of him, and he's in the hospital. But Allie's like, why is nobody helping this guy? And the other nurses are like, oh, that is the guy that was in here the other day that was let off for assaulting that girl. And then they told her that the brother's the one that had him put in whatever. And Allie's like, well, the sooner we help him, the sooner we can get him out. I will go and deal with it. And the other nurse is like, I don't think you should. um And Josh, like I said, has access to the hospital camera, so he sees that she is going to go and um, help this guy. I was gonna say service, but like that's not really the word for it, and I don't really know what the right one is. So she's going to um go and help him to get him all set and ready to go and just discharged to go home. So Josh sees this and he calls the hospital and he's like, and Allie's like, no, 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 tell him I'm fine. Like not even knowing really who's on the other line, but knowing. Um, she's like, tell him I'm fine. I've got this. Don't freaking worry. So the other nurse that picks up the phone is like, okay, well, cool, I guess. And she kind of drops it, I guess. Doesn't question whatever. And Allie goes and she's like, "Hey, I'm nurse whoever," because the nurses have like a fake name that they give when they don't want to have a patient know who they are. So she gives the fake nurse name, and the dude is pressing. He's like, "What's your first name?" And she's like, "Nope, I'm just Nurse Ratchet." I don't remember the exact nurse name that they give. Um, but she gives him the fake one, and she doesn't want him having really any info on her. But this guy gets a little grabby, because why wouldn't he? Um, he reaches for her, and the rest of the nurses come in and they're like, "Oh, Allie, dummies, why would you do that?" But they're not thinking, which I get. But the other nurses come in and they pull her out. But this triggers something in this freaking little disgusting troll man's brain, and he then obviously has something to go off of. So after this freaking turd burger is let off and out of the hospital, he goes and finds Allie. Thankfully, it is a night that Josh is at Allie's house when this guy breaks in, because he definitely had plans to assault Allie and her. So good thing our boy Josh was there to save the freaking day. So they hear the door open to Allie's house, and Josh has her security system also uh set to notify his phone. So Josh gets the notification and he sees that the camera is blocked. And obviously no small animal knows to block a camera. So that immediately is sending off red flags in Josh's mind. And he is telling Allie, he's like, yo, stay here. I will go handle this. I don't want you to get hurt if this is somebody bad, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So just freaking stay here. Stay. So Josh goes out and freaking numbnuts bad guy breaks in and gets knocked immediately by by Josh. So once the dude is out, of course freaking Allie comes out and Josh is like, "Dude, I told you to stay." And she's like, "Well, what if you got hurt? I was just coming out to make sure that you were okay." And then, Josh is mad. And once they have finished arguing, um, they are like, all right, well, we gotta freaking get rid of him. So what is the plan? So they decide that they're going to tie him up and um take him to the family of the girl that he assaulted so that they can, take care of him in whatever way that they see fit. So they got him all tied up, taped up, whatever, and they get in the car and well, they put the guy in the trunk and then they're on their merry way to go to the family of the girls. So they're driving and they're trying not to freak out clearly because they've got an unconscious person in the trunk of their car. So they get to the girl's family's house. It's like a farm, a little farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere. And they open up the trunk and they notice that the guy is not conscious, not fighting, not nothing. And Allie goes and she checks his pulse, and guy's no longer with us. But honestly, good freaking riddance. He was scum of the earth anyway. So really, who's gonna miss him? No one. So, that is like wee woo wee woo wee woo going off because they just freaking murdered somebody. Obviously not on purpose, but then Josh is freaking out because he's the freaking son of a serial killer and Allie doesn't know that yet because they didn't get that far in their new relationship. Um so Josh is like, "Oh my god, we killed somebody. What the hell are we gonna do?" And Allie's like, "I got this. Don't worry." So Allie's family has ties to the Irish mob. Yay! So she takes the body to her uncle's, and it's the middle of the night. So oh my god, that's too bright. Hold on. There we go. So she takes the body um, to her uncle's to freaking get help and to deal with this little issue that they got themselves in. So Allie gets to her uncle's house and he's like, "Oh wow, hey, nice to see you. What brings you here?" And she's like, we've got a dead body in the car." He's like, "No, we don't talk about this down here." Um, so he gets her in the house, and he gets Josh in the house too. Whatever, he gets them in, and he's like, "All right, start talking. What the frick? You come to my house with a freaking dead body in your car? You got some splaining to do." So Allie starts spilling the beans about how the guy broke into her house and they had a different plan, but it didn't really quite go to that plan. So here they are now, and the uncle is like, all right, he calls all his sons down, um, and they go and they freaking take care of the body and dispose of it for Josh and Allie. But Allie is a little unsettled because she doesn't know all of these people involved in the disposal of this body, and she is kind of freaking out because she can't go to jail. They can't go to jail. They didn't mean to do this. And like I said, Josh is freaking out too. And Josh does not want to be recognized by anybody in Allie's family. So he's wearing this fake porn stash to to conceal his identity. And the uncle is looking at Josh a little funny because he knows something's up. He's like, that's a face that I recognize, but can't quite place it type thing. So the uncle essentially tells Josh like, I don't really like you, but whatever. Um, you're clearly bad news if my niece is having a freaking high bodies because of you. And they end up, you know, tying up that conversation, and everything is fine. Everything is hunky dory, kind of. Um, but they decide that they need to go to the grapist's house and get rid of any trace of him looking for Allie, because that would lead them to her, like the cops, to her if they find out that he's missing. So Josh is like, "Yo, I will help you because I am a hacker." And the uncle's like, "All right, well, yep, yeah, you're gonna have to, like, you owe us now, or whatever." And Allie's pissed when she finds out about this. But they they get back to the apartment of Tyler and Josh because Allie has to kind of lay low now because that guy freaking broke into her house. And also, her house is now a crime scene. So her family also has to clean it up and leave it so there's absolutely no trace of that guy whatsoever. I want to say his name was Bradley. Mayhaps. I'm going to call him that if that's not his real name. Oh well. It's his name now. So they make sure that there's absolutely no trace of him in Allie's house. And the team that is on the freaking we'll call it wipe the computer team, they get to Bradley's house and they see that the cops are there. So obviously they can't do anything about it. So they turn around, they get the hell out of Dodge, and they have to then go back another day, another time, and deal with it then. So, uh, Josh gets back to his apartment. Allie's already there. He tells Tyler, like, hey, Allie is gonna be staying with us for a little while. Also, I'm dating her now, if that's cool with you. And Tyler's like, oh, thank God. Like, I am so happy for you. Like, I'm not mad that it's somebody that I used to, be with, anything like that. Like, thank God I don't have to deal with all your weirdness anymore. So Josh is like, ooh, nice, cool, you're not mad. Um, and so, like, whatever. Allie is hanging out in the apartment and she gets a call from the girl down in their like lab at the hospital that does like all the tests of like grape kits and all of that, all of the likes. So when Allie accidentally stabbed Josh, she took some of the like bloody bandages and some hair from a sweatshirt and whatnot and gave it to the girl in the lab to pretty much confirm the identity of Josh. Um, but the hair and the blood did not match because the hair was Tyler's. Because again, Josh is not dumb, so he planted some Tyler hair on him. But the girl in the lab calls and she's like, "Hey, so those two samples don't match, but I was doing some digging because the blood came up with a partial match, like DNA wise, um, from this freaking serial killer." And Allie immediately is like, "What?" Like needs to sit down for this information. And Josh before this planned on telling Allie about his dad and his past and all of that. But clearly there hasn't been time because they just had to freaking hide a body. Um, so where was the time for that conversation while they were in the car driving to her uncle's house to dispose of a body? Like, hey, by the way, my dad was a serial killer. Like, there's no correct time I feel to have that conversation. Especially, well, I mean, not at that time at least. So Allie gets this information and she's reeling. But once she hangs up, she goes and she is talking to Tyler, and Tyler is like, "Hey, yeah, so like he was gonna tell you, but I will tell you everything that I know because Josh is my best friend and we've been friends for a really long time, um, like since we were kids. So I know everything." So once Tyler talks to Allie, she's like 10 levels down from where she was, cuz that's pretty freaky information to get, especially from the girl at work, and this is your basically new boyfriend that you know nothing about. Um so yeah. But once Tyler kind of clears the air on that, she is feeling way better. And Josh comes back to the apartment and she's basically like, "Yeah, I know." And Tyler's like, "Yeah, I told her. Not because I really wanted to, but she knew cuz Tyler told Josh that he would not spill the beans. He would let him do it, but clearly Allie knew and she had questions. So, um Allie feels fine about it, I guess. And she feels bad. Um and when I freaking started reading this book and they give you the list of trigger warnings and whatever in the beginning, I remember clear as day the warning of unintentional cannibalism. I'm sorry, what? I actually had to like I was listening to it on audio at the time when I first started this book. Going back a couple seconds to make sure that I heard that correctly. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I did. Unintentional cannibalism." So, I was reading this book and was wrapped and ready to freaking go and figure out what the hell unintentional cannibalism was in this book. Turns out Josh's dad cooked a woman and they were having a freaking block party, grill party type thing, and Josh's dad made fucking hamburgers out of a woman, and anybody that ate a burger that day ate a lady. It's not funny. It's really not. But I was just like, oh God. Um, so yeah. But Tyler's like, yeah, I had a hot dog that day, so I was good. But Josh is vegan now because of it. Rightfully freaking so, dog. Rightfully freaking so. Um, so that was cool. That was fun. But anyway, that's not the point. But this then puts a lot of stuff in perspective for Allie about why Josh was so freaked out, other than the fact that, obviously they just unintentionally murdered somebody because they covered both his mouth and his nose in tape. So he suffocated. But again, they were doing the world a favor. Um, so Allie's like, well, like, you're not your dad. This clearly was not on purpose. You're not a serial killer. You're not a murderer, whatever. Um, and Josh was like, yeah. Right. Okay. Um, but they still have to freaking get the information from Bradley's, phone, computer, whatever. Um, Once Allie's family found Bradley's car, they searched it. There was no phone in there, and the GPS was turned off on the car, so that could not be tracked to Allie. But they eventually get into the house, and it's a whole, you know, secret squad team, and they don't want Allie to go, but Allie goes clearly because she's like, well, this is my boyfriend, and I have to go to make sure that y'all are nice to him, type of thing. And like, you don't leave him behind, and whatever. And I need to be there just in case anything happens. So they go and they get into Bradley's house, whatever, and they're searching around and they get this rank smell. And it is the smell of decaying bodies in this guy's basement. And they're covered in cat litter because apparently cat litter is a good way to fucking cover dead bodies. I don't know. I'm not a serial killer or any type of murderer, so I don't know the specifics of of cat litter and it masking the smell of dead bodies, but sure. So they get that rank smell and Josh is like, yeah, that's definitely the smell of decaying body. And the team is like, we don't want to know how you know that. We'll put a pin in that and circle back. So um they drop it and then all of a sudden there's like something that comes up that they all have to leave the house. But Josh is like, no. I have to stay. I have to find this phone. And like we have to wipe the computer and be done. I think it was that like the Bradley's parents or whatever were on the way, but Josh was like, I'm gonna be in and out. Like, just trust me, whatever. And Allie stays behind naturally. Um, but Josh is left there alone to deal with this issue and he gets left behind. I am going to finish my eyebrows off screen just so that I can really really get up in there. And I might do my eyeliner as well. You know how I get when I am off screen and I I go to tie things up. So give me 1 second. Okay, don't worry. I did exactly what I said I was gonna do, and I just finished my eyebrows. But I have look at my new mirror, isn't it so cool? Anyway, sorry. um, but Josh freaking Hail Marys, gets the hacking job done. wipes any trace of Allie that he could from Bradley's computer, and um, he's out. But Bradley's parents are um, at the house, also looking for his stuff, mainly because obviously he's missing. So they're thinking like he ran off, and they're gonna find some trace of where he is. And while they're there, they're like, "We have to fire the housekeeper because it stinks in here. Clearly, she hasn't been taking out the garbage." Blah blah blah. But while Josh and Allie are leaving, Josh throws a chair through the window so that the alarm system goes off. Um, and it alerts the cops to come in the house. Come in the house, come to the house. Because then they don't need a search warrant because the alarm went off. And that's what the cops were having an issue with, because they needed a warrant to search the house. That was their first visit to Bradley's house. So the team, hears that the alarm is going off, and like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And clearly the parents see that there are people running from the house, so they deal with that. Um, well, like the team deals with the alarm and the getaway of Allie and Josh. But they're freaking cold. It's cold out. It's winter. They're getting freaking frostbite, and they're on the run in the freezing cold. And they make it to the getaway car, and they get away, and everything's fine. Um Once the cops come, they discover the bodies, and it, comes to light that the son of these really rich people was not a good guy. And sure, yeah, they were not aware of all of the trouble that he was causing, but you know, you know, this all started like in high school, and they were paying for him to get off the hook. Well, the call's coming from inside the house. The what? Hello? Your son's a freaking rapist and a murderer. But whatever. Anyway, so the cops search everything, and there's some traces of Allie, like from the phone, um and whatever, but there's traces of a lot of searches on a lot of girls, and one of them being the one of the other nurses that were there the night that um Allie got into it with this guy. And the cops end up questioning the other nurse, but not Allie. Uh, and they're pretty free and clear of any suspicions. My cat is bothering me, so hold on. I will never know peace when doing really anything, but mostly my makeup. So I finished the liner, and then I added a little white graphic liner to the look for fun. Impulse, really. So anyway, um, the cops find out, that dude is bad. Um, but Allie's family makes it look like clearly that Bradley is still alive. But he fled to like Canada or something like that. They get somebody that looks like him, has same shape, build, hair color, eye color, whatever, um, to make purchases with his debit card, and kind of, be seen in public doing normal guy things, I guess. um, so the authorities just believe that he fled, and they're trying to track him down. Um, but sightings will slowly start to dwindle and whatever. But for right now, they need that story of he just fled. So once everything is pretty back to normal, we'll say, um, Allie and Josh can figure out what the heck they're doing. So Josh and Allie um move in together. He gets her a bigger bed because he's a big, big, strong man. Um, and he needs like a double king. Just kidding. But he needs a bigger bed to accommodate him sleeping in bed with her. So Josh freaking gets her a new bed and a new like headboard and everything like that. Same as she had, but just bigger to accommodate their new life together. And of course, um, they they deal with their son Fred. Um, and I with the one thing that I loved about Josh and his character throughout this book was that the moment that this cat warmed up to him, he was like, "Oh yes, this is my son now. He may be your son, but he is also my son." So, uh anytime, Allie and Josh were together and Fred was around, Josh would be like, "Oh, we can't say that in front of our son," or our son has to do this, that, the next thing, you know, whatever. But Josh was just really stinking cute about Fred the whole time, and he realized that he was for sure a cat person, and mayhaps would like to bring in another. So in the epilogue of the story of Lights Out, um, they Allie and Josh go on a trip to like this wooded mountain area, and of course, Josh is chasing Allie through the woods in his mask. Mm. Fun. um, and you know, if you know, you know. Um, but she's they've got like this bet going, whatever, that if she can go 10 minutes without him catching her, um, she wins, I guess. But if he catches her before then, she's she's boned, quite literally. Uh, but they end up going back to their Airbnb after everything. Um, and the uh the cats, multiple, are causing terror in the Airbnb. Once they get back, they end up getting a little girl kitten for Fred. They get him a little sister, and she is a freaking nightmare. But I don't know. I just think it's really cute that Josh went from worrying about hurting animals and potentially being a serial killer to um warming up to his girlfriend's cat and getting another, and believing that Fred needed a sibling. That is just, I don't know. I thought that was really cute. I freaking loved this book though, and oh god, that went on way more intense than I wanted it to. Whoops. I'll fix it. But for now, we're just gonna roll with it. Um, the story was fantastic, and I know that I have a tendency to be like, I love this book, and then after weeks go by, really rethink it. But it has been a couple weeks since I have read Lights Out, and I can say with, full confidence that I really liked this book, and I can't wait for the next one um, to come out. I have to deal with this freaking nose. Oh my god. Let me let me veil it. If pro tip, actually, let's get into like an actual makeup tip here. If you do anything a little too hard, a little too heavy, you can take your setting powder and go over top. Really, you know, pack it in, pack it on, and it will create a little veil over and diffuse the harshness. I mean, clearly you could see how much better that is than how I had it for a moment there. I don't mind this being rather intense, but my nose, God, that did not need to go as hard as it did. um, but now that that's over and we've gone over our makeup tip of the day, um, yeah, I can't wait for the second one. I don't really know um what the second one is really gonna be. Um because I feel like this could have just been like a standalone type book. And that would have been fine. But I'm down for more. I'll never say no to a sequel, I guess. I'm hoping really that there's no more after the second one, but if it calls for it, I guess that'd be cool. Um, but like I said, I feel like this could just be a standalone, and I would be really tickled. I would be very content with that. But I'm excited to see where Navessa takes this next. But if you read this book, I am very intrigued on what your thoughts and feelings were on it. Like I said, I really like it, but I'm biased because I like that type of gentleman. I need a lipstick, so I'll be down here. Hold on. But yeah, if you didn't read this book, and I may have just spoiled the whole entire thing for you. But if you want to read this book, if it's on your TBR, I definitely 10 out of 10 recommend. Um, do not let my overall synopsis and summary of this dissuade you from reading it for yourself. I still think that you should read it, even now that you know basically everything that happens. I think you should still read it. Because I really think that it was that good of a book. Okay? That's my thought on on the matter. I think that it was really good, and even if somebody spoiled it for me, I would still go and read it. I don't actually mind spoilers, personally. I still like to, know all of the events that lead up to things and the inner workings of a storyline. Like I don't care uh that I know what the outcome is. I want to know all those juicy little details in between. All of the things that happened that led up to the ending. I mean, like I said, I went over just about everything, but there's some stuff I guess that you could find out for yourself. The biggest thing that I didn't really touch on, and I'm gonna touch on it now, is being that Josh is the son of a serial killer. He vetted basically everyone that Tyler brought home. Uh, making sure that they weren't into true crime or anything like that because he didn't want anybody to recognize him and make it weird. And even for himself, like the minute that he felt like a girl that he was even interested in, like started looking at him kind of funny, like they recognized him from somewhere, he immediately ended things. I can't imagine what that's like, you know, being the child of a serial killer. That's gotta be rough. That's gotta make your life really rough. Um, that's a really morbid, um, unfortunate side thought to have. But there's people out there, man. Like, I don't know. Ooh, what the hell happened there? That is very flat. Whatever. Um, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I know that I kind of started rambling there at the end, but like I said, I thought that this was a really good book and I enjoyed it a lot and I can't wait for the next one. We have to wait until June, but I am patient, kind of, sort of, not really, but I'll wait. I'll wait. Um like there's another installment of not Phantasma, but there's another book coming next that's like Enchantra or something like that. Um, that one comes out around my birthday, so that's like happy birthday to me. It comes out in April, but I'm excited for that. I really enjoyed Phantasma, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We have to be patient and wait until June, but we'll see. Next week we will talk about the Salacious Players Club um series. We'll start talking about that. We'll start with Praise. Obviously, clearly that's the first book in the series. Um but I am just finishing up that series now. I'm on the very last book. Um so I can't wait to start talking about that one. These have these have been pretty good books so far. So, we'll see. Um yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. That's okay. No hard feelings. Um, but I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day, rest of your week, whatever. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.